Today we're going to learn how to graph a line using a table. The first problem we're going to do, example 1, is y equals x minus 3. In order to do this problem, we need to first create a table of 3 columns. The first column is going to be your x values. The second column is going to be your function, which is x minus 3. And the third column is going to be your y value. What you then do is you pick some values for x. You could pick both positive and negative numbers. When there's simple problems like this, I always pick positive and negative numbers. You want at least 3 points, 2 to give the line, third to make sure that your line is correct. So I'm just going to pick some numbers. It really doesn't matter what the numbers are. Maybe I'll pick -2, 0, and 3. Notice I've picked any value. Now you don't want to pick too large of values because then you may not be able to graph them on your coordinate plane. Next, what you do is we're going to use the substitution property in order to substitute each new x value into the problem. So my first problem, I'm going to put a -2 in. So I say -2 minus 3. If I'm at -2 on a number line and I subtract 3 more, that's going to put me at -5. Now I do 0. So I'm putting 0 in. So 0 says subtract 3 from it. 0 minus 3 is -3. And I'm going to do this one more time using 3. So I put my 3 in. So 3 minus 3 gives me 0. Now, basically what I've done is an input-output table. What I can now do is I can take those points and I can plot them. My x value is the first x value. My y value is the corresponding y that I found. So the first ordered pair I'm going to plot is -2, -5. Then I'm going to plot 0, -3. And my last order pair is 3, 0. Finally, I have a bunch of points. Now I'm going to play connect the dots. Now, lines extend forever in both directions. So when we draw our lines in, we want them to extend forever in both directions. So I'm going to draw my line in, making it nice and long, and then I'm going to make sure to put arrows on the end of my line representing that the line goes up infinitely in both directions. So there's example 1. Let's try another example. Example 2 looks a little bit different. It looks a little bit trickier. Example 2 states y equals -4x plus 2. We start by making our table. 3-column table. We bring what y is equivalent to down. And now we're going to pick some numbers. So just like before, I randomly get to pick some numbers. So say I pick -1, 0, and 2 this time. I always like to pick 0 because the numbers are really easy to work with. Now when we substitute in for our x, notice it says -4x. That means -4 times x, then add 2. So I'm going to do a little math here. My first x value is going to be -1. So I'm going to do -4 times a -1, which is a +4, plus 2, which gives you +6. Repeat the process now with 0. Going back to the original problem, -4 times 0 is 0, plus 2 is 2. And now I'm going to do 2. -4 times 2, same sign's positive, different sign's negative, is -8, plus 2 is -6. I have 3 ordered pairs now, so I'm going to go ahead and plot them. My first ordered pair is -1, 6, so I go left 1, and then I go down 6 on my coordinate plane. Then I go right or left 0, and then up 2, And then my last point is 2, -6. But wait, that doesn't look like a line. What'd I do wrong? Do you know what I did wrong? Let me look back at my ordered pairs. 0, 2, 2, -6. Wait, -1, 6 should be left 1, up 6, not down 6. So I take my point and I move it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up. Hey, there's my line. 2 points give you the line. Third point is to correct. So now we know we've done it right. We put our arrows, our lines. I'm going to adjust my line a little bit here for you. And we put our arrows on the ends of our lines. And there we go. We've graphed another example. Let's try one more of this type, and then we're going to talk about something a little bit different. So example 3. Y equals -x plus 5. Bring my -x down, plus 5 down. Pick some numbers, -2, 0, and 2. I can pick any numbers I want. I pick both positive and negative. Now this formula is a little bit different. -x means basically, if you remember, if there's no number in front of the x, it's a -1. So we're going to take -1 times x and add 5 to it. So -1 times -2 is +2, plus 5 is 7. -1 times 0 plus 5 is 5. And -1 times 2 is -2 plus 5 is 3. I take my points and I'm going to plot them now. So -2, 7. So we go left 2, we go up 7, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We go 0, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we go 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Looks like they're in a nice pretty row. No errors this time. I had plotted 0, 5, and 2, 3. So now using my ruler and my straight edge, I'm going to connect those values, making it a nice long line. And I'm going to put arrows on the end. This ends part 1 of graphing tables. Part 2 we're going to get to is now going to deal with fractions. So I hope to see you in part 2 in dealing with fractions and tables.